So we will float forevermore. I'll hold your hand as we fly through fields of war. Come. Laurent and Nadja, are you ready to take over the stage?
Yes.
Yes, with great pleasure.
Okay, so the stage is yours.
Thank you very much. Today we will talk a lot about purpose of things. So we want to share with you what for us is the purpose of this creative morning, this morning. So we want you to go into your day feeling light and inspired, wanting to be intentional about setting the purpose for the small and the big things you do. This will help you and others to collaborate better and to have more meaningful conversations. So that's the purpose of this creative morning we wanted to share. And to start, we would like to ask you a question and do some tiny little workshop together. Therefore, I send you a link. It's in the chat now. The chat, you have a button on the bottom, and it's written chat. And there you have a link now from me. And unfortunately, you can't click it. You have to copy it. And then you come to a Miro board. Please open all the Miro board. Does everybody?
There's a lot of people running around on the board. So that's
yes. And if there are too many
arrows.
cursors, yeah, you can mute them.
You get there.
So I hope everybody has opened the link. So the question for you is, what purpose are you setting for yourself for the next few weeks? So it's not about the purpose of your life, but we're in a special phase right now. So what's the purpose? What are you setting yourself a purpose for the next few weeks? To answer that question, please zoom into one of the post-its, maybe not the first one on the left, but one of the many. Double click and then start writing. And some inspirational questions you could ask you to answer that question is like, what makes you happy, calm, or grounded at the moment? What can you contribute to the well-being of others? Or what are you giving yourself permission to do right now in this special phase? Or where do you feel energy or interest or curiosity? What are you really good at? What do you want to learn or explore in that time? What do you need most at the moment? Or what could you redefine, reclaim, or recalibrate for the next couple of weeks? So the question again, what purpose are you setting for yourself for the next few weeks? Please pick a post-it, double click, and start writing a short, crisp purpose. And if you have problems, you can chat to us in the chat.
Yay. So quiet. Maybe Ella, you should play a song now, but you're probably thinking about purpose, right? It's really nice to watch you all be on that board. It's like being in a real workshop, so that's really nice.
We have some huge Post-its.
If you're making a big Post-it, maybe put it a little bit on the side so that others can still work on the smaller ones. Very good. As you can see, purpose can be very, very different for everyone. There is no right answer. It can be something you're focusing on. It can be something you really are still struggling to do. It's something that makes you happy. So there is no recipe for this. Just find out what it means to you.
And when you're done, just click away. One more minute.
Please make sure if you have finished your Post-it, just go away from this space with your mouse, and then we can, because then we can read it. Otherwise, we still think you're editing, and it's visible that you are editing it, so it's a bit less good to read it. Thank you. Fantastic.
Good. Try to finish. Whoever is still writing.
I'm just bringing those Post-its back a little bit into the center, so they're all at the same spot, more or less.
And then please come back to the Zoom, and we would like to ask you, some of you, to share what you wrote. Like, what's the purpose you're setting yourself for the next few weeks? Just turn on your microphone and then just speak, if you like to. Who goes first?
I can go first. My name is Julia, and I decided for myself that I want to do 2 sport stuff things every day, 2 different ones. And the second thing is I give attention to one person I love. It's my decision. And if this person wants to have attention from me, I focus on them, but sometimes they don't know, and sometimes they feel a little bit overwhelmed why I spend so much attention at that day. And the other thing is I want to spend time with my family, because I feel like even we are in the same flat all the time, I need to focus on them. That's it.
Thank you very much. Who else would like to share?
My purpose is share my idea.
Ulrike?
My purpose is to learn a lot during these days and to stay positive.
Thank you. Who else would like to share? There was somebody, Una.
No, hi. I'm Ona. I'm literally a grounding stone for my family right now. I'm trying to be the yeah. I'm that's my daughter.
Hello.
she is, yeah, I'm trying to be the center and trying to help the family focus and find some kind of daily structure. And meanwhile, in my head, there is a lot going on. I'm trying to really find the purpose of my work and my education, and yeah, so it's a lot mind work, but also a lot of belly work, because I'm expecting baby number 2. So she's family is a big part right now.
Thank you, Ona. Who else would like to share their purpose for the next few weeks?
I can go. My name is Corinne, and I have a project, and my purpose is stick to the agenda I set for this project, Moving Arts. And I find it quite difficult to stick to the agenda. Yeah, so that's my...
Thank you very much. Is there somebody else?
Yeah. So you see me?
Yes.
Ready? I just want to do one thing a day for myself and to keep it after that, after the situation, so that it will be go on for the rest of however long it takes.
Okay. Thank you very much. We keep this mirror board, and you can have a look at it also after the Creative Morning, because there are lots of interesting statements. And now we will talk more about purpose, and whatever you see will also stay on the mirror board, so you can have a look at it later today or tomorrow or any other day. And now, yeah, Nadja goes on. If you have questions, I'm in the chat, so I can answer questions, and I'm collecting questions for the Q&A session later, while Nadja is telling us something about purpose.
Yes, thank you, Laurent. And thank you all for formulating beautiful purposes for this moment we're in. And Laurent, I would like to show you for the next 20 minutes how everything we do can be linked to purpose, and show you what can have a purpose, and send you off with a few questions for yourself. So for us, everything started with a project purpose. We were together doing many projects for the last 27 years. And the last project we did together was funding and starting up media in Zurich called Republik. I have a mug here, Republik. And as with startups, it's a very crazy time. It's very frenzied. It's high energy. And at the end of this phase, when we decided to move on and come up with a new project, we realized that there was something that could be helpful for people who want to collaborate well, because in a high speed environment like a startup, it's easily forgotten what it's really about, and you get distracted or even nervous or anxious about things, and then it's hard to follow that purpose. So we went away and we defined the purpose for our next thing, and we didn't know exactly what it's going to be, but we wrote down empowering everybody to find and pursue their purpose, discovering the knowledge of excellent collaboration, and making it accessible to everyone. And to us, this is really a little bit like a miracle, because it's exactly what we do today, 100% every day. So we just wrote that down after a long brainstorming at the Bauhaus in Dessau, one of our favorite places, and started a journey. And here you can see a little bit. Also, we were in Tel Aviv, to miss really a lot, and did a lot of brainstorming there. And we were in different other places, and now we are kind of doing it from where we are. Laurent is in Berlin and I'm in Biel in Switzerland. So we just decided what do we want to focus on and gave this phase a purpose, which miraculously stayed the same now. And we started thinking about, at the end of 2018, how can we find out how people can have a purpose, how individuals can have a purpose. And we just started creating a session. We call it individual purpose session. And we now have also here at Creative Mornings a big network of coaches who help people come up with their purpose. So it's about 15 people at the moment in the Zurich area. And we have experimented a lot with defining purpose with people. So I'm going to show you a few things. So this is an individual purpose of a young photographer. She's also a purpose coach. Her purpose reads, I am a New York City and Zurich-based artist, observing my surroundings and telling stories about interesting people through photography in my very own aesthetics. Conversations and collaborations inspire me. That is why I'm building my network with the most diverse people and also connect others so they can experience this too. I experiment, hustle, and create crazy projects as an artist. So in a session, this is what this young person has found out for herself, and she has written it on her website. This is the very first purpose we'd actually developed. It reads, I'm a business owner, developing my entrepreneurial skills with a broad variety of experiences, being a role model and helping others to grow. The interesting thing about this person is it's not really an entrepreneur yet. If you look at it objectively, it's a person who is a sales manager in a beer brewery. But the mindset is one of a business owner. So he wants to learn everything about business so that one day he can have his own. And there are also beautiful phrases in such purposes. One of my favorite phrases in one of the purposes is, I want to carefully listen to life. It has a lot of interesting things to say. Isn't that beautiful? So it's a bit of poetry for you in the morning. So we experimented how we can actually create purpose, and you can go in here and explore some more later. Then we did, or we still do, at least I hope, we are doing a long-term research project with a school in Sarajevo. It's a Montessori school, amazing people, amazing teachers, amazing founders. We live with the family when we're there. So we went there to try out how can we develop purpose with children, with students, with whole groups, with teams. And we set a purpose for this week. So you can also set a purpose for a specific project for a specific week. And we said the purpose of this purpose week is exploring what works when we develop purpose with students in a fun and inspiring way, experimenting, reflecting, and sharing. So you can see that it's really useful to set an intention with a purpose. Say like, what's the attitude that we have for this week? What's the attitude that we want to share? What's the value set that's in this purpose? Because then it's easier to follow that road and check every day, are we still fun and inspiring, or are we kind of, you know, hanging on to something that is not true to those values? Are we experimenting? Are we reflecting? Are we sharing what we're finding out? So it kind of holds yourself accountable to that. And here you can see a few pictures of the first sessions we did with people. Actually, it was still with Post-it, and we trained 4 teachers and 4 students to do purposes with others. And now we have already a network of about 25 coaches at this school, from 10 years to 60 years. So that's a purpose for a week. We also found out that addressing your challenges will help you follow your purpose better. So it's not about painting a rosy picture about who you are and the wonderful things you're going to do, but it's also about stating your challenges. I mean, I want to carefully listen to life. You could say that's a challenge. Or saying, I want to connect more to others, like Julia said, that can be a challenge, but it's something you want to follow. So it's helpful to state your challenges in your purpose. So maybe like also in the purpose week I just mentioned, to say we want to stay inspiring, because we know that sometimes when we get very focused on something, we get a little bit, tense. So here, during a certain phase of finding out how we can develop purpose, we used blue Post-its to mark the challenges so that they are clearly visible. And today we mark them in a different way, but the idea is still there. Then we set a purpose for our network. So we have a network of coaches now, and we set a purpose and an agreement for those. So that's also something useful. So obviously the purpose of this network is very much linked to our core purpose, helping everybody or enabling everybody to find and pursue their purpose, and creating a better world, one purpose at a time. And we set an agreement for ourselves and these coaches and this network, everybody contributing to the network, also the people who want to develop their purpose, read this agreement and sign it on our website. You can also do that if you want. So we set an intention of what we want to be as a community, how we want to act, how we want to relate to each other, and also what is a no-go for us, because to follow a purpose, you have to have a certain agreement on how you want to do things together. Feel free to read that in peace, because you can still visit the board anytime. Teams can have a purpose. And here you see a few pictures on how we develop purpose with teams. This above is a very first way we did it. Now we have a quite sophisticated process, but it doesn't matter. It reads at the end, this is one purpose of the teachers in Bloom at this school in Sarajevo. And these are the high school teachers. And they say, we are diamond cutters. As a team, we educate and learn for growth. We create a thirst for knowledge and understanding. We motivate through open communication and flexible work to create aha moments. You could now say, okay, it stops here. This is the purpose. But for this team, it's the first time that they reflect on this. So it's longer because they have challenges they want to tackle. So they also said, we value trust, honesty, empathy, and self-awareness. We open new horizons and possibilities. Our students will have a spirit of service, creativity, and independence, and build peace as evolving citizens of the world. As you can imagine, in a war-torn country, peace is a very, very big deal. It's a very big topic for everyone, personal, individual, teams, organizations. To provide this holistic education, we need time, resources, responsiveness, and unified effort. So they set an intention. How do we want to be? What do we want to do to reach this purpose? As a team, we want to share humor and joy, mindfully reduce pressure, paperwork, and tempo to be able to show passion, patience, and discipline. Things the team wants to tackle, wants to work on, etc. And then at the end, there's a little hint for the school director. What would help us enormously is more quiet space. So this is one way to write down the purpose and then to live it intentionally, and it will eventually become shorter and crisper over time. Organizations can have purpose, and I decided to take the same organization so you can also see how these things are in relation. So the organizational purpose of this school or of this Bloom is Bloom redefines learning as an organic process that brings out the full potential of human beings and has the power to transform individuals, communities, and systems. We are guided by truth, integrity, trust, purpose, and joy. We take care of one another. And people in this organization are really holding each other accountable to these things every single day. And I wonder how they do now while they're homeschooling or working from home, all of them. So organizations can have a purpose, and obviously if a team is in this organization and the purpose is already there, the team will reflect on how can we as a team contribute to this purpose. We also created a game with the students from this school called Mount Purpose. It's their name, their invention. Here you can see some of our game developers. And the game is not only used to develop individual purposes for children in a playful way, but it's also used to develop other purposes. For instance, the purpose of the school outing, the project, the classroom purpose. So you can go through this game, which has similar process to our individual session, but it's more playful, more energetic, there's movement, and children will find out purposes together. So always 3 people finding out one purpose, mostly for one other person or for someone who's the purpose seeker. That is a very, very exciting part of our project, I can tell you that. It's really hard to develop a game and also cool, very fun. So a few days ago, 2 of our coaches, Julia, who has already stated her purpose, and Babette, have shown us how they have developed their first individual purpose online. So above you see the purpose seeker, and underneath Babette and Julia and their mural board, which is also a whiteboard solution, where they developed the purpose of Andrea. And we are so proud of you guys. Thank you so much for doing this, because we have not yet dared do an individual session online, and we think it's super inspiring what you're doing. Thank you. I kind of can't navigate to the next frame. I don't know why. Let me quickly check. You're still seeing stuff, right? Okay. So here we go. Ultimately, what is helpful about purpose, about having a purpose, whether it's for the next week or the next few weeks, whether it's for a specific project, whether it's for yourself, your organization, your team, is it's a bit like having a compass in your hands. It gives you this focus. It helps you decide. It helps you have conversations about what you want, what you don't want. Laura often says it's like putting on purpose glasses. You know, you state the purpose and then you put on the purpose glasses and you see the things that kind of contribute to that purpose, and you see the things that are, you don't see the things anymore that are not interesting for that purpose, and that gives you hyper focus for that thing. So in a way you attract the things that are fit to your purpose. A few other areas of purpose that you could think about are, as I said, the project purpose, the family purpose. I mean, like, why are we spending time here together? Because at the moment we have to, but we can also be intentional about it. We can say, what do we want this phase to be? Do we want to learn with each other, or do we want to leave each other in peace? Or whatever. You can define a family purpose, you can define a meeting purpose, you can define the thesis purpose for your master thesis, and so on. We even experimented with couple purposes, not something we want to do, but it was interesting. Yeah, so if you want to stay in touch with us, you can go to our website. There's also this little personal purpose story that you can look at, even in this mirror board. If you click on the video, I'm not going to show it now because you can watch it yourself. And you can subscribe to our newsletter. As you can imagine, at the moment, we're also regrouping and redefining how we want to continue in this phase. So don't expect us to be super quick, but subscribe to the newsletter and we will let you know what's happening in the community. And you can also follow us on Facebook, Instagram, and Twitter. We would like to leave you with a few questions you can ask yourself, and feel free to come back to this space to reflect on that. We're not saying you have to do this. This is super important. Some people have written in their purpose that they just want to be grounded and calm. then that's already your purpose. And it's not necessary to be stressed out about it, but it's helpful probably to reflect when you do things. Why am I doing this? What's the intention of doing this now? So it can be going on holidays, even though you have to stay at home. It could be tomorrow's meeting. It could be why you read this book, etc., etc. So don't make it a job, but making a practice to reflect on the why and on the purpose of things. We are having a lot of fun doing this. It's a blast with you, Laurent. Thank you so much. And we hope that you will also enjoy thinking about purpose more often. And now I hand over to you, Laurent, for possible questions that came up. Thank you.
Yes, we have some questions to us, and I think we can answer them both somehow. Let's go.
Shall I stop sharing here quickly and then I can stop?
Yes, I'm struggling with all the screens. I have here. Yes. These are the questions we have so far. So Roswitha is asking, how would you, Nadja and Laurent, translate the term purpose into German? Somehow Zweck does not seem to catch it. We have to admit, we tried that so hard. We talked to so many people how we could translate that, and we failed. We haven't found so far a translation into German. And that's really a problem, because if we have teams which are not so fluent in English, we really have to explain first what purpose means, because they call it Purpose in German. And yeah, we would love to have a better translation, but we didn't find one yet, and probably there isn't one. The next question is from Sophie. Can you have more than one purpose? You put on your purpose glasses that gives you hyperfocus. Yes, of course you can. For example, you have your individual purpose, the general individual purpose of yourself. And then maybe you have a family purpose, and maybe you have a project purpose, and maybe you work in a company, in a team, and together with the others, you have a team purpose. So yes, you have and you can have many purposes, and it's great fun to develop all these purposes. You can also, as we explained, or as Nadja explained, you can have a purpose for a meeting. You can have a purpose for a master thesis, and so on.
Laurent?
Do you want to go on, Nadja?
No, I just want to add, because I'm now in the chat, because you're talking about the questions, and there have been some suggestions about the name.
Yes.
So we decided to stick with purpose and then explain what we mean by it. Someone said it could be the raison d'être, the reason to be, in French. I also know that in French, sometimes you call it le pourquoi, or the why. We really call it, we say it's the purpose, and then we say it's like having a compass, it's like having a guide, it's like the inner motor. So we try to go around it and explain what we mean by the word, because we also quite like the word. So just to add to that. And then Laurent, after you have answered the other questions, there is a few more that I can then relate to that came up additionally now in the chat. Okay.
Good. Then Armin has two questions. One is, apart from the challenges, how is purpose different from mission and vision? Nadja, can you answer that?
Yes, I think the difference is a mission is something you can achieve. A mission is something you set yourself, and then you either achieve it or not. So you want to fly to the moon, you try again and again until you do that, and then you have accomplished your mission. A purpose is more an inner thing, an inner motor, something that drives you, something that makes you get up in the morning, which can also be the case for the mission. I agree. So there's intersections, but the purpose comes out of yourself, or out of the group, or out of it's more about intention. And it's not necessarily something that you achieve. The challenges also give it a little bit of a vector. You know, you want to make sure that your purpose is not just a description of what you do, but it gives you a trajectory that you want to stick with. So if you have achieved your purpose, you probably want to reformulate it and say, like, what's the new challenge I'm tackling? And vision is just a description of something that would be nice and is far in the future. But as we have shown maybe in this example with the entrepreneur, this is more a statement of who you are inside. So I'm an entrepreneur, even though I am employed as a sales manager, but my core is being an entrepreneur. So that gives you different purpose glasses, because you say, oh, hey, boss, I'm not just interested in sales. I want to know more about the whole business, because down the road, I will do this on my own. So it gives you action in the now. I think that's probably how I would answer that.
Yes.
Is that, yeah.
Great, thank you. That's very.
Armin, we don't hear you.
Oh, you don't? Do you hear me now?
Yes.
All right. I was just saying that's great. Thank you. That's very useful.
Okay. There is a last question from Armin. Do you have recommended ways for team members to hold each other accountable with regards to the joint agreed purpose? I assume there's a better way than pointing at printout on the wall and scolding people, you violated the first commandment. Well, what we do with organizations is, first, we develop the purpose and the challenges of the team, and if we have time, we also develop with them the agreement. And then we meet them again in like every month, and we ask them, the whole team, what would you like to try out? So we try to connect them with the purpose and to listen to each other, what the others would like to do to fulfill the purpose more. And our experience is that that's already enough, because then you're forced to connect yourself with the moment when you developed the purpose and the agreement, and you hear the others, and you create an atmosphere where everybody tries to give their best, and also to state that, hey, I tried this and I failed, but I try again, I want to do better. And you can also then say, we as a team, we failed to follow what we wanted here or there. And that's a very nice way to say to everybody, to yourself and the others. So, and what we also noted is that in these teams, when you meet them monthly, they focus a bit more on the agreement, because and on the challenges, because these are the things which are not good yet, which are not as they want it. So they really work on becoming better and doing what they wanted to do.
Yesterday we had such a meeting with one of our clients where we developed team purposes, and they said it's even more important now in this crisis to look at the purpose, and they marked the things that need attention now. So it's not, you know, this one thing together, but as Dominic has put now in the Q&A or in chat, it's about setting an intention regularly, or even every week or every day, like, what will I focus on now? And some things need more attention at one point, and others become more evident, and then they become implicit, and they don't need to be stated maybe anymore in the purpose. But it's a practice. It's about practicing being intentional and letting each other know without finger pointing, like, hey, I don't feel that this was fit to the purpose, what we did now. How do you see it? How do you feel? And the other person maybe has a different perspective. So I was like, yes, I think that was very much on purpose because blah, blah, blah. And then you have a conversation about it, and you can align yourself. What does it mean to me to connect to that purpose? That's why purpose in a team is so valuable, because it helps everyone take better decisions without having to ask, may I do this? You can say, look, I set an intention, I did it on purpose. I did it in connection with the purpose, and now it kind of didn't work out so well. So we can have a conversation about it. How do we see this together? I think that's important.
What we also do is, if it's something which is really difficult to do, for example, we had a team where many people said, hey, politics is a problem in our organization. And then and politics, for example, is something very individually, because you're confronted with it individually and not as a team. So we asked the whole team, everybody, how do you think would be the best way for you as an individual and as a team to react to politics, like internal politics? And then everybody was stating a solution, and they heard each other, and they found a common formulation how they as a team and as an individual want to deal with politics. So and that helps each other, and so you don't have to finger point you did it wrong again. So how do we want to do it?
Maybe that's another important point. So when we read these purposes to you, it seems like someone sat down and just wrote down something, but the result that what I read to you is a result of careful reflection about what does this work mean to us? How do I see it? How do you see it? What word fits best? Do we understand the same thing when we say that word, etc., etc.? So it's a lot about alignment. And in German, I think a lot of you speak German, is Begriffsklärung, defining the words and what we mean, to fill those words with meaning and understanding not exactly the same thing, because that's almost impossible, but similar things when we talk about this word. That's it. So it doesn't fall from the sky. It's really hard work to come up with an elaborate purpose, but for your everyday intention setting, it's enough to kind of ground yourself in saying, so how am I intentional about this now? So it can be very quick. It's like cooking, you can cook something in 10 minutes, or you can make an elaborate Mexican dinner and you stand the whole day in the kitchen. So you can go about purpose the same way, I think.
Are there other questions, or does anybody would like to share something connected to purpose? Just speak. You have a microphone.
I have another one. So I've worked with client teams sometimes, and I'm a communications consultant. So I've not worked with purpose a lot, but it was always part of what I did when I wrote a brand story, was to put in something that reflects the purpose that I was able to gather from whatever the team was saying. But if I go at it directly and I keep asking them in a workshop, saying, all right, so, but why are you driven to do this? And what are the values behind your ambition to accomplish X, Y, Z? Then I've sometimes hit some sort of brick wall where they say, well, ultimately, to be honest, I'm just in this thing to make a career, make a living, earn a lot of money, so when you really try to be persistent to get to the core of the why of the whole business operation, to find out why is it that you do this very specific island solution in this ocean of possibilities of businesses, you sometimes encounter this disillusioning confession that they say, well, to be honest, I'm just in it for the money. And I've heard that from CEOs, I've heard that from individual team members, and I don't really know what to make of that. So I feel like I'm trapped in this situation where I have to embellish something, make something beautiful up to sort of cloak this underlying profit-driven motivation into something that seems more meaningful. And I wanted to ask you, what would you do in this situation?
We always work with the same process, and we really trust the process and the team, first of all. And we had this exactly this situation with a team of 20 secretaries in a company. And some of them were just saying, well, it's just a job. It's not about fun. I just want to earn money. But we list 20 people, 20 secretaries were thinking themselves why they are here. And some had much deeper reasons. And they were sharing them as well. So that was, how do you say that? It had an influence of everybody. So everybody got inspired by these deeper meanings of some people. And that at the end ended up in the purpose and not this just first maybe superficial idea of, well, it's just a job and I'm here just to fulfill the job. So you can trust the team and the process. And for us, the most important thing is that you hear everybody. Everybody is thinking about the answers to the questions. Everybody is sharing the answers. Everybody is listening carefully. And we ask like maybe 20 questions after each other. It takes like 2-3 hours to listen to all this. Why the people are here, why did they choose this job, what makes them happy, what is the team good at, and so on. And after 20 questions and hearing hundreds of answers, you're on a total different level to formulate the purpose than you on yourself within 10 minutes.
So if I may paraphrase, your answer is basically saying, all right, don't focus on those people who are driven by, just money interests. Try to find the stories inside the company of people who have different, more meaningful aspirations in order to inspire the others.
Yes. But not you find, let them find the story. Just trust them, trust the process. The key is that you don't give anybody more time in speaking. Everybody has exactly the same amount of time and amount of sharing. So automatically you have the chance to pick other input, which is more inspiring.
Maybe on another flight level to answer the question, it's like, I think if you look at a whole organization, there are a lot of people in the organization. For them, it's not enough anymore to hear these superficial reasons. And even if those dinosaurs, are still there who think like, I'm just in it for the money, a lot of people have the need to find the deeper meaning and to create the deeper meaning together. And so we should pay attention to those people because they will bring this organization forward. And they will ultimately, hopefully, either take the dinosaurs along, or the dinosaurs will realize, okay, this has changed a lot, and maybe I cannot fulfill my very superficial purpose here anymore. We're also not judgmental about purposes. If an individual says, my purpose is to earn a lot of money, well, go for it, buddy, but we think there could be better purposes. So, but if that's what you set for yourself, well, then that's that. It's your purpose.
It's now 8:56, and I think we had lots of questions already. I would like to share again quickly what we want to leave you with. That's this, like we would like to that you leave the meeting in a couple of minutes and you think of all the things you could give a purpose to, an explicit one, like what's the purpose of the people you live with, or what's the purpose of your partnership or friendship, or of the meeting tomorrow. Think about purpose. It helps really a lot to formulate a short sentence. What's the purpose about something for yourself, but also for the people you collaborate with. These questions, again, you have under the link on the Miro. It will stay open, and yeah, you can have a look at it at any time.
Nadja, Laurent, thank you so much for sharing with us thoughts. I think thoughts very important for this time we are in. I just wanted to share with you that we had a brainstorming with 77 people online, which for me is a record. And we had people not only from Grijs Voif and Kruisnacht and Biel and Bolithoven, we had also people from California, Chicago, and Guatemala. So I think in this whole situation, we also can see very positive things. And I would like to let you go, enjoy the day. Ella, thank you so much for the beautiful music. I love the ukulele and I can't wait to see you in person at the next Creative Mornings this year. Could we agree on that?
Absolutely.
Fantastic. And thank you so much, Nadja and Laurent, for sharing with us again from Biel and Berlin. And I wish you all a great day, a great weekend with kids, family, homeschooling, alone, fitness, cooking, or just searching your purpose. So feel free to stay, feel free to go. I hope to see you next month. I think it will be online again, but who knows, maybe in June we can figure out something different. So thank you for coming and have a great day.
Bye bye.
Bye bye.